It's a Saturday edition of Orange and Blue Today. Cecil Lammy, Andrew Mason, Denver Broncos, day 2 of Broncos training camp, Mase, and some magic for Bo Nix and company.
You mean because it looks like he's levitating the football there?
I think he just might be levitating the football. We don't know.
Use the force, Bo.
The little things, the details, right? It's just like training on Dagobah. You have to have the details down. And we heard from Bo Nix today. We've got some thoughts about Bo Nix. I have some, what I feel are very important observations about RJ Harvey. We're going to get to all that. But the talk about details, the details of playing quarterback, Bo's getting it down.
Getting it down pat.
Yes.
Right? Getting it down like he should get it down. Like that's what happens in year 2, right? You take that next step. You make progress. You grow. You become more than you were. You get past the things that bogged you down. Of course, Bo Nix talked about this back during OTAs that last year he would be thinking about things like his footwork. He'd be thinking about just getting the play call spit out in the huddle. And by the end of the season, he wasn't thinking about those things. And so now it allows him to reach a level where, okay, those things are habit. Now he can think about dissecting a defense. So
right.
Now we start getting to the good stuff with Bo Nix, because last year he was just having to get through these first kind of these basic steps of being an NFL quarterback. Basic things. First things, why don't we just actually hear Bo Nix talk about this? Like, because there were some rudimentary things that may seem simple that were on Bo Nix's mind last year as he went through the process. And this was actually the last thing he talked about when he had his press conference today. It was his first press conference of training camp. And here's Bo Nix just talking about some of the relatively elementary things that were actually on his mind, especially as he was going through the early part of his rookie season.
Just been there, done that. I don't have to worry about what certain looks are or what, as crazy as it sounds, where we're going for the locker room or where we're going for the stretch. I mean, I know it. I can, get there and do it, knock it out. Now I can focus on the next level things and the details and not really the overall picture. And just, a lot of times as a rookie, you just don't want to look like an idiot. Now you can go out there and, look a lot better than an idiot.
Yeah, don't want to look like an idiot because you don't know where to go. And that's just the simple thing. We've got plenty of detail talk about on field, but just knowing where to go. Where do you go stretch? Where do you go? Where's your helmet go? Where's this go? Like, he knows it.
All these things actually you have to think about. And some of it is like you're just following everybody else, right? It's like the scene in A Few Good Men where like, oh, everything is like in the book, and then like, well, how do you, if it's not in the book, how did you know where to go for lunch? Well, I guess I just followed the crowd at chow time.
If the rule led you on this path, then what good was the rule?
Yeah.
No country for old men. No country, no Broncos country is where we're at right now. And Bo with the details of, and he talked about this earlier in the offseason, Mace. Yeah. So let's revisit a little bit. But like Bo not having to think about footwork.
Yeah.
Not having to think about his scissor step and like, okay, it's a 5-step, is 3-step. How do I set up? And at times as a rookie, we did see him in shotgun at times with those small 3 steps, take too many steps, take too few steps. Now this type of stuff is becoming natural.
And because it's natural, everything's happening faster. So when you watch, say, Red Zone today, where everything is compressed, and this is where having to read faster, having to get the ball out faster, everything is at a premium on that compressed field. This is where Bo being able to do everything faster, this is, I think, where it really shows, where you actually start, where you really start seeing the difference in him he's already got the fast processor. So once he got past all of these rookie things, as it were, then we were really going to see the processor and the benefits of that start to manifest. And we're seeing that, he gets set and the ball is out. So you start seeing, those quick, those tunnel screens, those quick passes, the quick slants, and it's just boom, it's out. Reads it out, setting up his receivers for yardage after the catch because he's leading them. The ball is out so fast. The receiving targets are getting the ball before the defense has a chance to react. He's setting them up for additional yardage after the catch because the defense hasn't really had a chance to get set to make its reaction to it. And so this is putting them in a good position. Imagine Marvin Mims Jr. getting the ball before the D has adequately set up its coverage because Bo has read things pre-snap quickly, and because his footwork is not something he's thinking about anymore, it's set and he's just delivering it. Now, because you've compressed the process, because he's not thinking about things, everything's happening instantaneously, and Marvin Mims Jr. getting the ball faster, it opens things up for him. We're already seeing in practice the result of that. Mims, we talk about how there are more branches on the route tree for him. And some of those branches are pretty close to, the base of the tree, as it were. But he can do a lot of things with them sprouting out from the base of the tree because of his speed and quickness and what he can do with the ball in his hands. I mean, the possibilities for Mims excite me because Bo is getting him the ball so fast.
The excitement around Troy Franklin too, a ton to get to. We do have a hard out today, so we apologize. We're going to keep it as tight as possible. The nice thing is, with not thinking about some of that stuff, Bo's able to go, and our guy Zach Bly brought this up today. Like, he was going to Pat Bryant, and he was saying, like, okay, do you want it on this shoulder or do you want it on this shoulder? Like, think about that with Pat Bryant. That's a rookie, talented rookie, clutch rookie. And Bo, because he's not having to worry about all this other stuff, he can now kind of custom the menu to his receivers. Like, where do you like it? You like here? You like it here? You like it up here? That pass yesterday to Cortland Sutton, that was overshot. And then Court's like, yeah, come on, throw it here, throw it here. These are the type of things Bo now can do.
Yeah. Whereas last year, there's so much that is coming at Bo as a rookie and his head is swimming. It's just, he's basically kind of trying to cling to a life preserver. It's all he can do to kind of just keep swimming, basically. You're just trying to get any pass there to get it in the direction, right? Just to kind of keep the line moving. Now, because you're not thinking about those things, you're going to a relatively advanced level. And you're able to take advantage of the gifts that he has, the processor, the brain, the arm. Let's actually hear from Adam Troutman kind of talk. Well, actually not yet. We'll get to that clip later, but focusing on Adam Troutman. But you're able to get the most out of Bo Nix because he's able to not think about those other things. He's able to start saying, okay, like you say, what do you want? Where do you want? And he's able to accommodate that.
Yeah. How do you want it? That's where Bo Nix is taking that next step. And you see that comfort level in leadership in terms of just taking the reins naturally. And guys now looking to Bo for that leadership. You definitely have an air, like a tighter air with Bo Nix rather than last year, which was different in terms of competition.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's the way it was last year. This year, it is different. And this year with Bo Nix, you're looking for him to continue those strides and also continue having great chemistry with Evan Engram. I don't want every show title to be the same, but if we wanted to, for these 2 days of training camp, make no mistake about it, the first 2 days were acclimation days. Nobody say otherwise. It's incorrect to say otherwise. Sorry to be an aloha, but like they were acclimation days. This is training camp.
Yes.
We could have had 2 days of training camp, thumbnails, titles, everything about Evan Engram and Bo Nix, because it looks fantastic in what they're doing and how they're growing together.
We could have. I mean, it's not the only story, obviously. I mean, we definitely could have done that. We'll get to other things. The reason why we're focusing on Bo Nix today is because Bo did talk. Like I think that's why it's appropriate, I think, to focus on Bo coming out of Saturday, because he's not going to talk every day. He's not going to, to stand there and answer questions. That's why I thought it was appropriate to focus on him. And also, here we are through 4 days. I think when we talk Monday, when the pads go on, that to me is going to be an appropriate time to focus on the running game. We haven't had a chance to talk much about the J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey timeshare, but that I think is going to be it's going to be better to focus on that when we get into Monday, when we actually see pads go on. That's when because I think that's the test for R.J. Harvey. We've seen how dynamic he looks out there without pads. We've seen him get to the end zone. We've seen you've seen the burst the last couple of days. You saw it, of course, in rookie mini camp, but you've seen the burst out there now with the rest of the team. I mean, you've seen the explosion, but we haven't seen that obviously with pads. And I think that's going to be the focus right now. I think it's appropriate to focus on Bo Nix.
Yeah, focus on Bo Nix. My quick RJ Harvey take, and then we'll get to your conversation with Adam Troutman, is merely this. He shows an intent to go between the tackles. Mase, you and I have seen a lot of football, and how many young backs has to get coached out of them. Matt Waldman calls it the corner store. How many young backs from college where you can hit the corner store? You can just bounce everything outside. And 79% of his carries went outside at UCF. He has shown an intent today, including one where he lowered his shoulder at the second level after he had bounced outside at the linebacker level. Listen, you want to be an inside-out runner is the way I describe it. You want to have the intent to go, I'm going to force it up in there, and if I can, I'm going to jump cut or I'm going to bounce to the outside at the linebacker level. If you just try to go outside behind the line of scrimmage, almost all the time defenders can catch you. This isn't college. So with Harvey, it was very important to me, and we'll see more Monday, but it was important to me in that observation on a couple of runs where it was like, no, and there was nothing there on the inside on one of them, and he just plugged it up in there. And that is a skill. That's a skill. Most rookies get that handoff. Nothing's there. About dance, bounce outside. That doesn't work. You got to plug it up. Drop your head, plug it up in there sometimes.
Well, he has the body type to burrow. That's the thing.
I mean, Burrow, yes.
5'8", 207, 208 pounds with those quads and that stacked build, that he can go in there and get those tough 2 or 3 yards by burrowing in there. Like, I'm not saying that you want him always to be going in there on second and goal and burrowing, but it's something that you have to do sometimes. You can ask him to do that, and he will go get you those tough yards. Sometimes you have to do that against a stacked box, okay?
Yep.
You're playing 4-minute offense. Sometimes it's 3rd and 2, and you need the simplest, most direct way to get 2 yards.
Get it.
Yeah. Look, this is the #1 run blocking offensive line in the NFL, according to ESPN analytics, in terms of run block win rate. This unit ought to be able to get 2 yards on 3rd and 2 in a 4-minute offense to seal a game. Now, last year, did you trust those running backs to do that, even behind that offensive line?
Not at all.
But RJ Harvey should be able to do that. He has the body type and the tenacity and the willingness to do it. I mean, it's not necessarily a body type thing to have the willingness, because you've seen big backs be timid, and I've seen small backs be fearless. Phil Lindsay was fearless. I still remember the thing, watching him at the Shrine and seeing all these bigger backs who would tiptoe there. And here's this small back, and he was just throwing himself into the line time after time. And I remember walking away from those practices. I think it was the practices at St. Pete High School.
It was at your high school.
Yeah. And like saying, man, I don't know how good he's going to be, but I know he's going to find a way to at least have a few years in the NFL, because this guy is fearless.
Heart.
Yeah. RJ Harvey
has heart.
He has heart and he's fearless. But the thing is, he's got the body type to be fearless, because, I mean, you see those quads, and my goodness, when I was watching him on kickoffs, because they're going through the running backs on kickoffs. Like Darren Rizzi has talked about the running backs on kickoffs as a partner to Marvin Mims Jr. And so I'm watching RJ Harvey back there as well, right? And man, and when you see him and you see the power in the open field on that, it's like, holy cow, my word.
You love to see it. A red zone day as well, super, super quick before Adam Troutman. And again, we have a hard out, so we apologize, everyone. But like Jaleel McLaughlin, also inside the 10, scored another touchdown.
Of course he does.
Put him in pen. Put him in pen, everybody. I don't want to hear anything else. Inside the 10, I want Jaleel to get a toss, a screen, something.
Remember, he did that against the Bears a couple of years ago. The thing about Jaleel is, in that situation where it's just get to the edge and get there faster, that's what he does.
Get to the pylon.
He'll get to the pylon before anybody else does.
Yep.
There are some specific skills that Jaleel McLaughlin has that you want to have on your roster. I would say, I mean, right now, to me, I still say, I'm going to stand by that. I think Tyler Bidet ends up as RB3 effectively, even though I think he ends up doing the Lil Jordan Humphrey thing and they play roster gymnastics with him. But I think Tyler Bidet ends up on the roster and stays there all year. Like, I think practice squad, 3 elevations, and then he's on the 53. I think Tyler Bidet is around all year. I'm going to call my shot on this, but I do think they go through a day where he's on waivers. So that's just my take. Before we get to Adam Troutman, just want to talk about Drew Sanders. We have to mention him on this show because, of course, he was carted off. We're still waiting for word on further examination. It's always tough. Always seems like the injury strikes the position group where you can least afford it. And, of course, because the top of the depth chart, Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, these are the guys that do have injury concerns coming off of severe injuries, ACL for Singleton and Achilles for Dre Greenlaw. At least we know it's not an Achilles for Drew Sanders, but right now kind of nervously waiting and seeing here.
Yeah, waiting and seeing, and we won't know anymore until we get an update from coach. At least we know it's not an Achilles. Now, Adam Troutman, you mentioned having that skill set you want to keep around like Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yeah.
The same goes for Adam Troutman.
Yes.
And you had a chance to catch up to him today and pal around with him. Tell us about it.
Well, we're talking about Bo Nix here. There's more from Troutman we're going to play here in the coming days, but talking about Bo Nix and kind of going back to the whole thing of Bo Nix, kind of where he's grown, and he almost wanted to say a big time word about Bo Nix. You're going to hear it in this exchange, and I kind of follow up with the word that he kind of held himself back from saying. But I asked him about the progress that Bo Nix has made and the growth he's shown from early last year to where he stands this year. And Troutman, of course, always has a good perspective on things, big picture perspective on things throughout the team. And so here's Trout talking about Bo Nix from early last season to where he stands today.
There's no type of haze in his eyes where he feels like maybe, what was the kill? Let me figure that, and he's smart as hell anyways. But this year it's like, you get to a point when I played with Drew, it was like his second language. And obviously I'm not saying Bo's Drew is like, that's unfair.
Yeah.
But it is becoming like that. Like he's spitting it out fast, and now we can focus on cadence. Now we can focus on shifts, motions, whatever we want to do. So now you can kind of mess with the defense a little more. So it just gives you a lot of flexibility when your quarterback is so honed in and dialed in on the entire picture of the offense in each play.
You kind of stopped yourself from saying genius there.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's damn smart, and it's not just because he's bright naturally. It's because of the time and effort he puts into this. This is his job. Like, this is his life, you know, like, and he's in full control of it, and that's why he's been so great.
Genius.
Genius.
I do call him a supercomputer. Mike Evans
Yeah.
used to make fun of me for that. Used to. Not anymore.
Not anymore. He held himself back. He didn't want to say quite that he was Drew Brees, but it's like, right? So it's interesting to look back on all the pre-draft stuff. Remember those months leading up to the 2024 draft and how often the Knicks Brees comp came up. And some of that was, I think it was people trying to almost will it into existence. Like, okay, it seems like this Sean Payton, Bo Nix marriage is going to happen, and let's look for the parallels here. Let's see. But when you have Troutman, who was with Drew Brees that final year in New Orleans, 2020. So they crossed over for one season, Brees' last year in the NFL, and Troutman was a rookie then. So there aren't many players that have the perspective that Trout does. And he actually not quite making the comp because he's like saying it's not fair, but he's talking about parallels there, and he's willing to kind of put them in the same category in terms of their processor, the brain. I mean, and Trout's not a guy, he doesn't throw these things around either. I mean, we were talking about Sean Payton with Jeremy Crawshaw and saying how excited he was about him. And Sean doesn't throw that around lightly. If he's just saying he's excited about a punter, your ears perk up. This isn't Nathaniel Hackett. Golly gee, wow, everything is awesome. Okay. This is something that has some meat. Trout, I mean, he's a great quote, but he's real with you. If he says that, he's not saying it lightly. There's meat on the bone when he says that. This isn't Von Miller making the Trevor Siemian, Peyton Manning thing. He's saying that with some wisdom here. And so I heard that and I was like, okay, there's meat on the bone with this. And like, cause he thought about it. He kind of held himself back. And then I kind of followed up with that. Like, and it's interesting to hear him use this type of description for Bo Nix. So really he's showing something, but like he said, he works at it. That's another thing. He works at it. And we'll play more clips from Troutman here in the next few days. One thing that Trout said is that because Bo's working at it and putting in the extra hours, the young players are following suit. He's setting an example. Think back to a guy like Peyton Manning putting in the extra work and what that example set around the locker room. So now you have Bo doing the thing and putting more time in, and everyone thinking, if he's doing that, I need to do more too. And that's also part of the culture that's being built there. And it's not the coach doing that. It's the player doing that. And that's got more juice. That means it's like, it's the locker room kind of self-starting itself. It's not coming from the top. And that's really what makes culture.
It's better when they police themselves. Mase, we got to get out of here for today. We're both working like a duck. Watch a duck on water. Looks all smooth and underneath it's like paddling. That's me and Mase right now. We're bringing the best Broncos information right here. It is Orange and Blue today. Super quick before out of here. How do folks help us out on YouTube? Oops, did I lose you? No, I got you. Oh, you can't hear me for some reason. Okay. It's all good. Like, comment, share, subscribe. There you go.
Hit that
Hit that
notification
notification
bell
bell so that
that
you
never
miss
a vid.
vid. He's Mase. I'm Cease. We are Orange and Blue today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.